What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Cha-ching! Grimm Solace by Ben Galley. So, guys, this is book number 2 in the Chasing Graves trilogy, but I don't want anyone going anywhere because I'm going to keep it nice and tight and spoiler-free. I'm not going to ruin anything for any of you, okay? So quit throwing fits. Just get comfy, okay? This book really blew me away. If you remember my previous review for Chasing Graves, I found the beginning book of this trilogy to be really interesting. It had an original take on kind of a magic system and whatnot, but I also had some criticisms. There was a bit of a slow burn going on there, which I could tell that might grind on some readers. But here in book 2, goddamn, Ben Galley is throwing some heat. Let's get into it. Here in Grimm Solace, we return to Araxes, where the dead don't die, they get sold into servitude. Now, in Chasing Graves, Ben Galley built a strong foundation for the story, as well as he brought us a large cast and crew of characters, and then slowly wove it all together for us. Here in Grimm Solace, he is just unleashing the fucking chaos. Smacking us upside the head with all kinds of that good old fuckery, as well as rapid fire action and political intrigue that'll make a gangster grin. Okay, so one of the first things I want to get into is going to be the story's pacing, because this is where it, differs from its predecessor quite a lot. Now, these two books are very similar in theme and character and everything else, but like I said, that pacing is night and day. Chasing Graves, the first book, is a slow burn. It's not bad, it's just structured for a specific reason. But now here in book 2, Ben Galley has all the room to play with, and play he does. And everything is flying at you at a rapid rate, or I should really just say it's all coming at you in a compelling and interesting manner, and at a good, steady rate. So it's just fucking enjoyable, and it's also a breath of fresh air kind of coming off of book 1. Once again, it's not that book 1 is horrible in its pacing, it's for a specific reason. It's just cool that now we don't need to worry about that reason anymore. The reader has the information needed to push forward into this fucking manic madness that he sets forth, and it is so goddamn cool. I needed this, honestly, from him here in book 2 to make this trilogy that much more easier for me to recommend to slow and struggling readers. The next thing I want to talk about is just kind of the components of the story that he has really amplified, and that's going to be the world building and the political intrigue. So the world building, once again, he really opens it up when we get these chapters with Nilith and her husband, and we're getting to see what's going on in this world outside of Araxes, which is kind of fun, and it's kind of a breath of fresh air when you might be feeling like you've been stuck inside this fucking soul-capturing city for too long, or maybe it's getting a little grim. Not that Nilith chapters aren't grim as well, but at least you're getting out into the great outdoors and seeing more of this world. And then on the flip side, we go back to Araxes. Now, this is a world, or, a city that is so well envisioned and thought out and detailed for the reader to consume. I really, truly think that fans of, like, Scott Lynch and his detailed style writing are going to love Ben Galley's world building, specifically the city of Araxes. It's just that beautiful and fucking well written, as well as it being dark and dastardly. This is a place where horrible shit goes down all the fucking time. As beautiful as the Skypiercer castle might be, there's still somebody stabbing someone in the alley and then fucking binding their soul to a copper coin and selling them into indenturement. It's fucked. Then we have the political intrigue, which is noticeably bumped up. Not that Chasing Graves book 1 doesn't have it, it's obviously there's a lot of political intrigue in book 1. I just feel like with the understanding that you have and kind of the direction that Ben Galley pushes it, it's so much more compelling and interesting. I chewed up all this political intrigue, especially the stuff with Boss Temza, this crime boss. Fuck me, it was just so dark, dastardly, delicious, and ooh, good. And speaking of Boss Temza, this is a perfect time to segue into the characters, because the characters are a great reason to get into these books. Ben Galley has carved out some very interesting and compelling characters, ones that for surely people can get behind and enjoy. He's also carved out scumbags for people to hate, or for guys like me to love as well. And Boss Temza is certainly one of those. Now, this character in book 1 I liked. Here in book 2, I fucking love this guy. He's like Bricktop meets the Baron from Dune. He's a fucking gangster motherfucker who is ruthless, and his scheming is impressive. What this guy does, what he, like the plans and everything he does to cooking up and scheming to just wiggle his way into the upper crust elite world. Like I said, it's just fucking cutthroat and impressive at the same time. And he earns a respected spot in my black heart, for sure. Most readers returning to the story are probably going to be waiting to return to Caltro Basalt, because this character is fucking hilarious. He's also the one that's told through first person, so we really get to spend time inside and feel all the thoughts, or see all the thoughts and feel all the emotions of this character. And he's a very cynical smartass. I love him. And he brings the levity to this dark story for sure. And once again, he's no less funny. The guy is just a fucking barrel of laughs through and through. And the way that Ben Galley kind of just continues to fuck him over. It must be fun to write these horrible situations and predicaments that, Caltro will find himself in. But either way, it's pure gold for the reader. And I know for a fact that people that pick these books up are going to love Caltro's character. No ifs and buts about it. It's the one guy that just is shining that bright. He's an easy dude to love and get behind. And I have to mention, he has a little bit of a companion in here that really shined through for me personally. Caltro will come in contact with a magical sword, one that talks. And if you know anything about me, you know I'm a sucker for magic swords, especially if they are blabbermouths, and even more if they have a chipper attitude. So you can only imagine this loudmouth magical weapon annoying the ever-living piss out of our beloved Caltro Basalt. Now, also, I want to mention that, Nilith, the chapters with Nilith and her husband, once again, if you watch my Chasing Graves review, you know that I enjoy these parts, and once again, I do love them again for pretty much the same similar reasons. This relationship between this woman and her dead husband and her, mission to go bind him is one that is, it's believable, it's comical, it's a lot of things all rolled into one, and just the back and forth between those two is something that I really enjoyed throughout books 1 and 2. Now, also an honorable mention I want to throw out there are these shade characters that are free. Most if you're a shade, you are bound to indenturement, but there are these shade characters that are free, but they have sold themselves back into indenturement, and they've both also been a part of this cult, which is something that's kind of starting to brew within these stories. Now, I just love these fucking characters and envisioning these dudes. One is Danib, and he works on the Boss Temsin side, and then you also have Atane, who works as kind of an advisor for Sassine, the Empress in Waiting. So this is a whole lot of fucking cool shit, because these guys are two very alike in many ways, but they are on complete polar opposite sides. And just all the shit that goes down with them, I really liked it in book 1, and I feel like Ben Galley has kind of nurtured those characters here in book 2 and made them just that much more interesting. The last thing I want to talk about is just the overall tone and the feel and the vibes you kind of get from reading this book, and they will be similar from the first one, but very apparently, this is a darker read. There are moments in this one that are much more bloody and visceral than its predecessor. I dig the direction. I love the way that Ben Galley has pushed this thing into a little bit more of a serious direction for some of our characters, and things have gotten very real and very fucking bloody, and yum, 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 yum. I am eating it up. I goddamn love it. Also, I just want to throw this in as far as kind of the vibe and stuff. This is, I labeled it before as Grimheart, and I think I still would kind of keep it there, though. This book definitely pushes into the grimdark territory, more dark and bleak. but it's also got this vibe, man. Sometimes I feel like when you're in Araxes, it's almost like built out of like a Charles Dickens novel sometimes. And some of these shades really remind me of like Jacob Marley. They're like these blue phantoms with fucking chains and shit jangling off of them and stuff. It's what I guess what I'm getting at is it's a whole lot of goddamn fun to imagine, to envision. And, you know, while I was reading this book, I was just thankful that I had it because it was really just filling my mind with all this cool imagery, and I really needed it at the time. I do want to point out that I read this book after coming off of the Aspect Emperor series, and guys, I was kind of about to go into a tailspin reading slump. I had started several books, and I wasn't having a whole lot of luck with many of them, but this one blew me away. It kept me engaged, and I started it and finished it only in like 2 or 3 days. Like, I couldn't stop reading it, and that has got to be spoken for. There was a good old vibe here that really captured your good old boy Marky here. So man, I gotta mention that. This thing for me is like a fucking 5-star read, and so I just gotta gush a little bit, all right? Gush. Now, as far as my 2 cents for the slow and the struggling, yes, I do believe this book is for you. In fact, the Chasing Graves trilogy is really shaping out to something that I would love to recommend to the slow and the struggling, especially if you hit a place where you're ready for a little bit of a challenge. Not too much of one, just a little bit. Ben Galley's writing style will challenge you a little bit because it's not bare bones. It's intelligent, it's witty, and it's not dense, but it's very well detailed. So these things can be hurdles for some struggling readers. But here now in book 2, man, just like David Ragg's books, man, he has paced this thing out so brilliantly that you can challenge yourself with a little meatier writing style, but still get from point A to point B with relative ease, feel accomplished, and just, kick some goddamn ass. All right, guys. Once again, thanks for spending some time down here at the channel and to Ben Galley. Akadoosh. 2 thumbs up. Hell yeah. Bro, you got my attention. I am highly anticipating this 3rd book, and I know you got stuff dropping right now, so I'm like scrambling, wondering, what am I gonna read next? I'm just, once again, salute to you, man. Keep kicking fucking ass, and hopefully we'll get you on the channel soon. To all of those out there that are new, I would say like and subscribe, but you know what? You're your own person. You do what you fucking feel like, all right? I'm tired of bossing you guys around, all right? I'm just a fucking dude out here in the corner of his goddamn house talking into a camera. Why would you even listen to me? That's not very constructive, huh? Fuck it. Well, alrighty, I gotta get out of here. You guys know what time it is. Peace.